Tongan commentary was available for the history-making fundraising Super Rugby pre-season match between Moana Pacifica and the Chiefs. Although it wasn't the result Moana Pacifica were looking for, losing 61-7, it was great to know we had two Tongan commentators able to report on the match in Lea FakaTonga. Joining us now to have a talanoa about this experience and the fundraising efforts that took place is commentator and New Zealand Rugby's rugby educator Caroline, better known as Kalo Scott Matamua. Malo e lele and welcome.
Morena, malo e lele, Paige.
No, thank you for joining us this early, especially with the busy schedule that you have. I do want to just start off by asking, I guess, what was the atmosphere like? Not everyone was able to be in, the stadium that day. What was the atmosphere like being at the first game under this new Super Rugby Pacific format with a first dedicated Pacifica team?
To be honest, it would have been a bonus to have the crowd, but the atmosphere, because of the cause, because the team itself is historical. That made history itself. So everything was special about the cause. The fundraising. So the atmosphere in there really, actually, it almost felt, for me personally, felt like we did have a crowd there.
Wow.
And although physically it wasn't there, but we knew everyone was tuning in, and like you said, the result wasn't what we wanted, but it didn't faze the boys. They felt the love, before and after the match. So, it was a special feeling. The atmosphere was awesome.
And I guess for you, you were there and you got to commentate the game in Lea FakaTonga. What was that experience just like for you? How significant was that?
Yeah, without question, commentating that historical game, not only, like I said, the team made history themselves, but, it was special for me to commentate with my cousin John Bulu, and thank goodness he's a professional at television. And so that added, that was special for us as a kāinga, but also in terms of sport, it's, for male and female commentary in Indigenous language in a male-dominated sport is a genuine leap for sports and community development. So it's not just about rugby; it's the development of our community when we have these capacities available for us. I'm still buzzing from the experience. It was awesome.
Are you hoping that this will continue, that this kind of will become normal within the sport?
Oh yes, and now that we've got the first, the jitters out of the way. To be honest, I don't know about John Buller whether you want to commentate with me again, but I'd love to do it again, and whether it's me or anyone else, it would be great to see not just Tongans but other Pacific languages, have it available as well.
No, I'm sure you guys were an absolute dream team, and I guess the match that was just played, that was a match dedicated to the Tonga relief efforts. Can you share how much was raised that night?
There was roughly about 25,000, which is huge.
Wow.
We were asking, people were already donating, to fill up one of those drums is roughly about $500,
Wow.
and then the drum itself is about anything from $20 to $35. So it's a lot of money. And so, we've got people sending money, sending the drums over. And I think to date there's around about 55 huge efforts around the country, 55 containers, 20-foot containers, Tonga bound. So, Maloa Pito Aotearoa, our cousins over in Aussie, our, Pacific countries, and just to also, asking our people to dig deep for this occasion. $25, 25,000, I should say, is a huge amount.
No, that is an amazing effort. Well done to our community just for rallying together and pulling through for that. And I do want to ask you though, Moana Pacifica, they did take a pretty brutal beating in their preseason match. From your point of view, what do you think they need to work on leading up to the next match against the Highlanders?
Oh, I don't want to take the Aaron Major's job away from him, but they've got an awesome team. I love it. One of the things that I mentioned uh, to one of the Sky Sports when we were there is that we can see often when we take out players from rep teams from other countries and bring them into an indigenous team, they often come in and play different positions. But we can see they're more or less coming into positions that they're in their district teams. So I think it's exciting. It's pre-season. We don't really have anything else to compare it with. And if I had to choose one thing, it would be on the night the Chiefs were fitter and stronger, and they share the same skills and the knowledge, and being fitter it makes a big difference when you're fitter as a team rather than individual fitness. So
Mm.
that's my 1 cent.
No, I love it. And we all turn into coaches, when we're spectating. So, no, thank you for your thoughts over that. If you're just tuning in, we are speaking with New Zealand Rugby Ako Wāhine rugby educator Caroline Kalo Scott Matamua. And now, Kalo, I do want to just touch on your roles as a rugby educator at New Zealand Rugby, and then also you're on the board, I believe, from the Tongan Women's National Rugby League board. Can you just elaborate a brief of what you do in those roles?
Um, so I'm trying to. I'm these days. I'm a former I'm a former player and coach and management, and really these days I mainly write and research on sports, and my boots and whistle are hung up long time ago. um, but I'm a member in the that was Tonga's very first female all female led rugby league national board, and that was huge for Tonga and huge for sport, and Ako Wāhine is runs parallel to that. That's how I got involved. I played a little bit of rugby, not a lot. My 25 years in sports is mainly around rugby league. So I did a 360, well, not really a 360, but my attention came back to rugby about 2020 through Ako Wāhine. And it was, that's the brainchild of former Blackfern Vania Wolfgram, and it's an amazing rugby educator program. And actually, that was the world's first women-only rugby educator program, launched in 2020.
Wow.
So, it's those things when you're looking at, it's not just about rugby. It's developing the capacity of men and women so that sport in general can develop. So, and that's where I am at the moment is, different pathways available that Ako Wāhine is paving through the sport and mainly through rugby. But, also just actually last year, Ako Wāhine assisted Auckland Rugby in the first translations of their rule and safety books in 5 different Pacific languages. And then we performed the first in Pacific language specific coach course
Wow.
earlier last year as well. So a lot of
That's
great things coming out of lockdown.
Yeah, no, it seems like amazing things, and it's such a great role and position you hold, and so needed in this industry. I do want to ask, because I know time is upon us, and you need to go. Is just, I guess, your priorities for this year, and where you would love to see the rugby as well as league space grow, in particular for women.
Um, it's we can't for in terms of participation. It's very hard to, especially with the restrictions, and because we're in terms of rugby league in Tonga, we have national priority of well-being at the moment. Um, but definitely in a couple of months, we'll be having to, wanting to mobilize participation in Tonga again. There's some wonderful men and women champions grassroots in Tonga at the moment, especially Hartby. We've got, Fala there, and also Pita. So, and here in New Zealand, I would probably be looked at for my priorities in supporting the World Cup, the Women's World Cup, and just being a supportive role in the for our Women's World Cup.
Oh, that's awesome. And I just want to say hi to your little friend at the back there. You
It's
know, her
Paul
parents.
there. That's
Hi.
my little shadow.
I do, so I can let you both go. Your key and final message just for our aspiring athletes and community.
I think what we've learned from building up Moana Pacifica has been 20 odd years in the blueprint, similar to Ako Wāhine. There's a lot of things that are going on, and I think it just teaches us that to develop rugby or any sport, you develop things that are not rugby. The life source of sports
Mm,
development is building human capacity, and when you develop that, the sports instantly grows. And
mm.
it's really wonderful to see that happening right now in the via Pacifica realm.
That's awesome. That's amazing. Thank you for that, Kalo. I do want to just say thank you for taking up the opportunity to come speak with us this morning. We really appreciate your thoughts on what was spoken about. And I just hope that you have a great day.
Thank you very much for this opportunity, Paige. It was lovely to meet you virtually, hopefully physically. Malo apito Hawaii ki moi kainga.